Intro, have you ever noticed that there's someone you can't stop thinking about? Perhaps it's someone from your past, someone you're drawn to, or maybe even someone you've never truly connected with but who still occupies a place in your mind. If you find yourself constantly returning to thoughts of this person, there's a reason for it. And understanding this reason is not just about curiosity. It's about understanding yourself, your mind, and the patterns that shape your life. Today, we're going to explore a concept that Jordan Peterson, one of the most influential thinkers of our time, has highlighted repeatedly: the profound impact of habitual thoughts on your mental, emotional, and even physical life. When a person becomes a recurring presence in your thoughts, three fundamental processes are happening inside you. Processes that can shape your relationships, your focus, and your overall personal growth. By the end of this video, you'll not only recognize these processes but also learn how to harness this understanding to improve your life, cultivate better habits, and gain control over the patterns of your mind. So, if you've ever asked yourself why someone keeps appearing in your thoughts, or why you can't seem to move on from a particular relationship, situation, or individual, this video is for you. Get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's dive into the profound psychology of habitual thinking, guided by the insights of Jordan Peterson. Your mind is tracking significance. The first thing happening when you habitually think about a person is that your mind is identifying and tracking significance. Every thought your brain invests energy into is a signal of importance. According to Jordan Peterson, the human brain is wired to prioritize things that appear meaningful, valuable, or potentially transformative in our lives. When a particular individual occupies your attention repeatedly, it's not just coincidence or emotional indulgence, it's your mind signaling that this person matters in some fundamental way. Perhaps they challenge you, inspire you, or even provoke unresolved feelings that your subconscious is trying to reconcile. The key here is understanding that the intensity of your thoughts is directly proportional to the significance your brain attributes to that person. Think about it. If a person didn't matter in any meaningful sense, your mind would not continue circling back to them. It's the persistent repetition of these thoughts that signals their importance. Peterson often emphasizes that understanding the hierarchy of significance in our lives is crucial for personal development. It's not enough to notice your habits. You need to decode what your habits reveal about your priorities, values, and unresolved conflicts. This is also why some thoughts feel unavoidable. Your mind is essentially conducting a silent analysis, assessing the impact this person has on your life. It's calculating: how does this person affect my goals, my values, my growth, or my current emotional state? Recognizing this process can transform your perspective. Instead of feeling trapped by repetitive thoughts, you can start to understand what your subconscious is telling you about your own needs, desires, and areas where growth is required. Now, it's important to note that habitual thinking is a double-edged sword. While your mind is highlighting significance, it can also exaggerate negative patterns, creating cycles of rumination, obsession, or unproductive emotional focus. Peterson teaches that awareness is the first step toward mastery. Once you recognize why your mind is drawn to this person, you can begin to consciously decide how much influence their presence should have over your day-to-day life. Your brain is trying to tell you something essential. Pay attention to what matters. But also ask yourself whether your current response to this significance is constructive or destructive. The difference between growing from this experience or being trapped by it depends entirely on your ability to translate awareness into action. Emotional energy is being invested. The second thing happening when a person occupies your thoughts habitually is the investment of emotional energy. Every thought carries an emotional charge, whether it's longing, curiosity, excitement, anxiety, or frustration. Jordan Peterson often explains that our emotions are not random. They are signals. They are biochemical indicators that direct our attention, motivate behavior, and provide feedback about what matters to us deeply. When you find yourself thinking about someone frequently, you are essentially pouring emotional energy into them. This energy is valuable. It's finite, and it influences how you interact with your environment, how you prioritize your goals, and how you experience your life. If you are repeatedly channeling emotional energy toward a particular person, it can affect your productivity, your mood, and even your physical health. Think of your emotional energy as a resource. Every minute spent worrying, longing, or fantasizing about someone is energy diverted from other important areas: your career, personal growth, hobbies, and relationships. Peterson frequently warns that mismanaged emotional investment can lead to frustration, resentment, and stagnation. Understanding this process is critical. Awareness allows you to reclaim control over your energy. However, there's also a positive side to this. Emotional energy invested in someone can be a reflection of deep admiration, inspiration, or motivation. For instance, thinking about someone who embodies qualities you aspire to develop can be constructive, providing you with an internal compass that guides your personal growth. The key is to identify whether the energy you're investing is leading to constructive outcomes or creating cycles of frustration and longing. Jordan Peterson's guidance is clear. Do not be a passive observer of your mental habits. If someone occupies your thoughts constantly, ask yourself the hard questions. Why does this person matter? Is the energy I'm investing productive? Am I learning from this habitual focus, or am I reinforcing patterns that limit my potential? By answering these questions honestly, you can convert passive mental patterns into active, intentional growth strategies. Remember, emotional energy is a currency. Habits of thought determine how it is spent. Habits of thought shape your internal world, which ultimately shapes your external reality. Becoming conscious of this investment is not about eliminating thoughts. It's about redirecting energy wisely, understanding its source and harnessing it to build a life aligned with your values and aspirations. Your subconscious is processing patterns. The third thing happening when a person repeatedly occupies your thoughts is that your subconscious mind is processing patterns. Jordan Peterson emphasizes the hidden work of the subconscious in shaping our perception of reality, our relationships, and our personal habits. Most people think of their thoughts as linear and conscious, but in reality, the subconscious is constantly analyzing, comparing, and predicting outcomes based on past experiences. When someone appears consistently in your mind, it is not simply your conscious self dwelling on them. It is your subconscious conducting a detailed analysis of the patterns that person represents. Perhaps they embody certain values you admire, behaviors you wish to emulate, or conversely, traits that trigger unresolved conflicts within you. The mind is essentially trying to create meaning, mapping connections, and determining the relevance of this individual in your life story. This processing is powerful because it can help you understand why certain individuals leave an indelible mark on your psyche. Peterson often explains that the human mind seeks structure and understanding in every encounter. When thoughts about a person become habitual, it is your brain's way of saying, "This is significant." Learn from it. Integrate it. You may not always realize it in the moment, but these mental patterns are shaping how you perceive relationships, trust, and even your own self-worth. Furthermore, Habitual thinking about someone reveals the dynamics of your emotional intelligence. Are you repeatedly analyzing someone because you are seeking closure, clarity, or validation? Or are you trapped in a cycle of fixation that prevents growth? Recognizing the role of your subconscious allows you to transform repetitive thoughts from a source of anxiety into a tool for insight and self-improvement. By observing your habitual thoughts, you can start decoding patterns, how you respond to conflict, what you value in relationships, and even how you project expectations onto others. Peterson insists that self-knowledge is the cornerstone of personal responsibility. Understanding these subconscious processes enables you to intervene in your own mental cycles, to consciously redirect your focus, and to prevent wasted energy on unproductive ruminations. Your behavior is being influenced. The fourth dynamic that occurs when a person dominates your thoughts is that your habitual thinking is subtly influencing your behavior. Jordan Peterson often notes that thoughts are not inert. They carry consequences. The longer and more intensely we dwell on someone, the more it shapes our decision-making, emotional reactions, and even interpersonal interactions. Consider the everyday moments when your mind drifts to that individual. Perhaps it affects how you communicate with others, the risks you take, or the way you perceive opportunities. Your thoughts create a lens through which you interpret reality, and habitual thinking can skew this lens in ways you may not even notice. Peterson's insight is crucial here. By understanding the relationship between thought and action, you can regain agency over both. Think about the subtle ways you might alter your schedule, your conversations, or your emotional responses because someone occupies your mind. These shifts often happen unconsciously, yet they are profound in shaping outcomes in your personal and professional life. Habits of thought lead to habits of behavior. The critical question is, are these behaviors aligned with your higher goals, or are they feeding cycles of distraction and emotional dependency? Peterson emphasizes the importance of recognizing the consequences of mental habits. By bringing habitual thoughts into conscious awareness, you gain the ability to redirect energy into actions that serve you rather than deplete you. For example, thinking about someone who motivates you can inspire creativity, drive, and productive behaviors. Conversely, thinking about someone in a negative or obsessive way can erode confidence, provoke unnecessary conflict, and limit your potential. Understanding this mechanism allows you to reclaim control over your behavior. Instead of being at the mercy of unconscious mental loops, you can consciously decide how to act, whom to invest time in, and how to cultivate meaningful connections. In essence, habitual thought is not merely a passive state. It is an active force that shapes the trajectory of your life. Cognitive resources are being allocated. The fifth aspect of habitual thinking is that your cognitive resources are being allocated. Your attention, focus, and mental energy are being divided. Jordan Peterson often explains that human consciousness is a finite resource. Every thought requires energy. Every memory invoked demands neural activation. And every emotional engagement consumes part of your limited cognitive bandwidth. When a person dominates your thoughts habitually, they are essentially consuming a portion of your cognitive capital. This has direct implications for problem-solving, learning, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Peterson emphasizes that awareness of this allocation is crucial for effective self-management. Without conscious oversight, we may find ourselves dedicating significant mental space to someone who offers little productive value, thereby impairing our capacity to focus on meaningful goals. Cognitive resources are like currency. Each moment you think about someone repeatedly is a transaction. Are you investing wisely, or are you overspending on unproductive rumination? Recognizing this allocation helps you prioritize where your mental energy should go. Peterson encourages viewers to critically assess the return on investment for habitual thoughts. What is gained by this focus, and what is lost in opportunity cost? Moreover, habitual thought patterns are often tied to emotional rewards. Thinking about a person might trigger nostalgia, desire, or excitement, chemical reinforcements that make the habit hard to break. Peterson teaches that understanding the reward structures behind mental habits is essential to mastering them. By observing how your mind distributes attention and energy, you can identify patterns that enhance growth versus patterns that reinforce stagnation or emotional dependency. Ultimately, habitual thinking is not a passive activity. It is a form of mental investment. The question you must ask yourself is, are these investments building a life that aligns with your values, goals, and aspirations? Awareness of cognitive allocation transforms your habitual thoughts from random intrusions into deliberate tools for self-understanding and intentional personal development. Your values and priorities are being revealed. The sixth thing happening when a person repeatedly occupies your thoughts is that your core values and priorities are being revealed. Jordan Peterson often stresses that the content of our habitual thoughts is a window into the hierarchy of what truly matters to us. When someone consistently appears in your mind, it's more than just an emotional fixation. It's an indication of what you value, what you seek, and what you need to address in your life. For example, if your mind frequently returns to someone who demonstrates integrity, courage, or compassion, it's a signal that these qualities are deeply important to you. On the other hand, if you are preoccupied with someone whose actions evoke resentment, insecurity, or frustration, it may highlight unresolved issues or personal blind spots that require attention. Peterson teaches that self-awareness of these mental patterns is essential for aligning your life with your principles and aspirations. Understanding the values revealed by habitual thought can guide decision-making in a profound way. You can use this insight to evaluate your relationships, career choices, and daily habits. Are you surrounding yourself with people who reinforce your ideals, or are you investing mental energy in patterns that conflict with your highest goals? By observing who occupies your mind and why, you gain clarity about what truly matters to you, and this clarity becomes a compass for intentional living. Moreover, recognizing the hierarchy of significance in your thoughts allows you to consciously prioritize your time and attention. Peterson repeatedly emphasizes that failure to understand the structure of your own values can result in wasted energy, frustration, and a sense of aimlessness. But when you identify the true significance behind your habitual thinking, you can redirect your energy toward relationships, activities, and goals that genuinely nourish your personal growth. Habitual thoughts offer an opportunity for transformation. Finally, the seventh and perhaps most important aspect of habitual thinking is that it offers a tremendous opportunity for transformation. Jordan Peterson emphasizes that awareness is the first step toward change. When a person dominates your thoughts, it presents a chance to learn, grow, and evolve. Rather than seeing these recurring thoughts as a burden or a distraction, you can reframe them as a signal, an invitation to examine yourself more deeply and take meaningful action. Habitual thoughts are like messages from your subconscious, guiding you toward areas that require attention. They point to unresolved emotions, unmet needs, and latent potential. Peterson often stresses that life's challenges are not merely obstacles, they are opportunities to refine character, develop resilience, and cultivate wisdom. The same principle applies to the mental patterns you experience. By paying attention, analyzing, and acting consciously, You convert habitual thinking into a tool for self-improvement. For instance, if thoughts of a person are accompanied by feelings of admiration, you can explore what qualities in them inspire you, and then work on embodying those qualities yourself. If the thoughts evoke tension, resentment, or regret, you can confront the unresolved issues they reveal and begin the process of emotional resolution. Every moment of habitual thought carries information, and every observation carries the potential for growth. The transformative power lies in choice. Peterson highlights that human beings are not passive observers of their mental landscape. We are active participants with the capacity to restructure our habits, our focus, and ultimately our lives. By understanding why someone occupies your thoughts and what your mind is trying to teach you, you gain the tools to redirect your energy intentionally, strengthen your resilience, and align your actions with your highest values. Turning awareness into action. What can you take away from all of this? If you notice that a person has become a habitual presence in your thoughts, remember these 7 principles. Your mind is tracking significance. Emotional energy is being invested. Your subconscious is processing patterns. Your behavior is being influenced. Cognitive resources are being allocated. Your values and priorities are being revealed. Habitual thoughts offer an opportunity for transformation. Jordan Peterson reminds us that awareness is power. The next step is action. Reflect on why this person matters, what lessons your mind is signaling, and how you can channel the emotional and cognitive energy being invested in them toward meaningful growth. Use these insights to cultivate healthier relationships, strengthen your emotional resilience, and create a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. Remember, thinking about someone is not a weakness, it is a signal. A signal that you have the potential to grow, to learn, and to transform. So take these lessons to heart. Pay attention to the messages your mind is sending, and step boldly into a life of conscious intention and purposeful action. Your thoughts are not just thoughts, they are guideposts. And with the right awareness, they can lead you toward a deeper understanding of yourself and the life you are capable of creating.